morning, gals and guys. It's Steph with Tiny's Garden. Welcome back. Today I'm following up on my last video, which was my top 5 favorite new flower varieties I started in my cut flower garden this year. And I wanted to follow up with some honorable mentions starting over here. Most of these are going to be fillers, but I've got 2 that are cut flowers I wanted to cover first. So let's get into my top 5 honorable mentions in the cut flower garden this year. Starting off, we have Aster, and I did mention these briefly in the last video, but I wanted you to get a closer look because last year I planted Aster in the ground and it didn't do nearly as good as it has done in this little container here. So I have Lady Coral Lavender right here with those big beautiful blooms. Has just outperformed last year that was planted in the ground like crazy. In this little container, ceramic container here, it has done beautifully. That is Lady Coral Lavender Aster. This one is tall, difficult to get because it's so tall, but this is Valkarie Brunhilde. And if you take a closer look, as we focus in there, you can see a nice beautiful poof and bloom, slightly apricot, peachy, gorgeous color, and definitely long stemmed. You can hardly get the whole thing in the shot there. And then down here we have Tower Chamois, and I have to tell you, these little ones, they look super muted now, but when they were in their prime, a really pretty, almost filler-like looking aster. So I've been pleased with all of them this year. And we have Cherry Caramel Flax that I mentioned before as well in the top 5 video, but really it probably should have been included somewhere because it is such a versatile workhorse in the cut flower garden. I have cut and cut and cut on these, and the smell, it really could be a perfume in itself. The Caramel Flaxy, that's why I'm not in perfume naming. Let's take a closer look. When it blooms, it has a deep kind of magenta looking center. And after you cut it pretty hard the first time, it gets longer stems, so it is usable in bouquets. Just a power horse in the garden. I'll be growing even more of this next year. Now onto actual fillers. Red Mahogany Hibiscus. Look at this guy here. It is leaning because it reaches for the sun this way. You can see that one back there is leaning as well, but these guys have been so fun to grow this year. They start out pretty woody right out of the seed starting gate and just continue to grow from there. I've got some in containers like you see here. And then I also have one that gets more west, stronger sun that I'm going to show you that's a little different color-wise. I'll bring you up close so you can see this. So here is definitely a deep burgundy color all the way down. And I will say this is wimpy when you cut it, which means it wants to really wilt. So you've got to use quick dip or some sort of hydrator in your water to keep it sturdy, but it is so fun to grow and gives a really nice texture. Let me show you the color in more intense sun. I am fighting the sun beating down on me. It's in the afternoon here and I'm shading part of this, but if you look closely you can kind of tell there's some more green involved here. And here we have Bells of Ireland. One amaranth in here, but I just stuck that in there. The Bells of Ireland have been such a great filler, really unique. They're starting to go out now. You can see the browns on them, but this whole bed was full. And I know some people have a difficult time germinating them, but again, this was my first year with them and I did not. A lot of people will put them in a paper bag and then put them like on top of the fridge or somewhere warm to germinate. I did it the old-fashioned way and put them in dirt and lightly watered and germinated them that way, and I had good luck. So it's to each their own on these. Some people don't like them. There are thorns on them. You've got to be careful. But I just think it's such a unique structure and adds so much height that they're very, very fun, very versatile. The Bells of Ireland, great filler. I want you to be able to get a close up shot of these because it's just such a unique structure. Really, really fun and different. Then down here we have Cerinthe, and it has pretty much plopped over and is also on its way out. But I planted one, maybe two in here that I managed to save from seed. And it has just grown and grown. Really happy with it. The color is such an amazing greenish blue that it makes it really unique and such a nice pairing for many things in the cut flower garden. And these little purple flowers are just kind of like a nice little surprise. I'll get you down here close to see. Here we are up close and you can see that coloring and those flowers a little better. And I love it as a filler. I'm going to grow much more of it next year. One other one I'm going to mention that's not necessarily an award winner for me, but I think it's a great color option for something different. Dusty Miller, these silvery green blue leaves. So fun. The tricky thing is I just haven't used it in a bouquet yet because I've never worked with it before, but it does give such a different option as a filler. So I'm going to try and use it tomorrow actually for a bouquet and see how it works with me. And fingers crossed, all goes well because I think it'd be great to add some variety in a bouquet. So I'm gonna wrap this video up actually down by my Lizzianthus. And I grew Lizzianthus last year. I didn't grow all of these varieties, but I think Lizzianthus this year needs to have its own video. It was not in my top 5 because I grew it last year, and I wanted to say all of them in the top 5 were something that was new for me, that I really enjoyed and that performed well for me. But man, these are starting to burst. I mean, I can't with you. You're stunning. So stay tuned for that because I think it's worth its own video. Some of these varieties that are new to me, but that are starting to really put on a show. I think you would like to see that. Oh my gosh, can you? I love you. I love you so much. Gosh, my dog just tried to jump into my Lizzianthus. What are you doing? Oxypax, that is big no-no. We don't get in mommy's bed, especially the Lizzies. And that is it, everybody. That wraps up my honorable mentions for the cut flower garden in 2022, all of which, besides the asters, I have grown for the first time this year. So I hope that's helpful again when you're ordering your seeds. Stay tuned for that video. I've got to get on it. We're running out of time. Make sure to comment below and let me know what your favorite fillers are in the cut flower garden this year. And subscribe to my channel to keep up with all things garden if you haven't yet. Thanks for watching. Happy planting. Bye. Queens, I'm waiting. I'm waiting on you.